Alright guys, so we had technical difficulties again. I recorded this entire video and turned out my audio was bad. I'll probably show you guys a small clip of it. Anyways, I'm going to show you how to replace the Samsung Galaxy S8 screen. We're going to do from start to finish. Stay tuned and hope you guys enjoy it. The Samsung Galaxy S8 screen. Alright, so this is probably the longest voiceover I've done. It's about 40 minutes. Well, let's get to it. Okay, so as you can see in this video, we have a good LCD Samsung S8. You can tell because on the white screen there's no blemishes, there's no like spots. There's a crack right there, but as far as we can see, it looks like it's just the glass. As long as it's just the glass, you guys can offer your customers a little bit of a discount since you can resell that that screen. Now I'm about to show you guys. I ordered the screen along with the frame because her or his LCD is still good. We can recycle it. There's companies that recycle it. So if you can see to the right, there's that's what it looks like when it comes with the frame. It's more expensive, but it's worth it because it's only like $20 to $30 more. And you get to keep your old screen intact because removing the LCD from the frame is nearly impossible without either burning it or cracking the LCD when it's a good LCD. So make sure you test the LCD first. You know, first off, you can give your customers a discount. Secondly, you can get a little bit of money for this recyclable LCD. And then if it is a good LCD, the touch works and everything, you can resell it. Okay, so don't order just the LCD alone when it comes to that. But if the LCD is broken, then go ahead and just order just the LCD alone without the frame. Save yourself 20, 30 bucks. So now we're gonna try to turn off the phone and it's probably gonna ask for a passcode. Sure enough, it asks for a passcode right here. So I'm just gonna do it the hard way. I could get the passcode from the customer, but I'll just be careful. So I'm going to heat up the back so I can get to disassembling the phone. And you never want to heat up just one part with anything. Anything you're using a heat gun with, you do not want to hold it in one spot because you will burn that spot. So always do it evenly, spread it across. So I'm gonna disassemble it and remove the battery, unplug the battery so that the phone can turn off, and then we can work a little bit safer. All right, so right here, I think I'm explaining how you want to heat up wherever you're going to go into, you're going to stick your blade into first. That's what you want to kind of heat up that part a little bit more. And I think I'm doing the bottom part. I always start through the bottom. But you want to heat up the whole thing because there is adhesive going along the whole back. All right, and where am I going to go in for the kill? I think I'm going in for the kill now. Yep, hitting that bottom. Gotta put my glove on though. Yep, there it is. So that bottom right now is pretty much burning hot. Not too hot to where I damage the LCD or any other components in there, but here we go. Stick the blade in just barely until you can lift it a little bit so you can stick your plastic pick. I use I think it's a 38mm pick. There you go. Nice and flush. It went right through the corner. You can still break it. You gotta be very careful. That's why I use the very thin picks. All right. Look at me struggle on the bottom right. Look at that. I'm glad the microscope kind of covers my face a little bit. Okay, so I'm talking about the fingerprint sensor there. So there is a ribbon. There's also a wireless charging pad. You want to be careful not to rip. So now we're sticking my plastic spudger to kind of give it more of a thicker opening, still without pressuring too much. Okay, so I want to heat it up some more. At that point I realized it was still kind of tight, so let's heat it up a little bit more. We're going to be careful not to rip the fingerprint sensor cable, nor the wireless charging pad. All right, that should be enough heat. Let's what am I using here? I used the blade a little bit just to wedge it open again, and now we're using the pick going across that side. Now that one already had a small crack. I think that's what I was talking about earlier. So right there around that area, there's a small tiny crack. I was able to get the pick through there, through underneath. Oftentimes it's better to go around and then meet it halfway versus going straight through the crack, because it depends how severe the crack is. See, I'm going around it. Okay, and I'm using that plastic spudger just to kind of hold it open for me. Now I can just heat it up and kind of open it as I'm heating it, and you're gonna see that it's gonna slowly start coming apart. All this while the phone is still on, people. All right, hit it with that pick real quick. All right, and there is, you can kind of see it. Okay, so in this case, the fingerprint sensor came off from the back glass cover. And right here, I was like, oh, I'm gonna turn it off first. Nah, I'll just unplug it. Most of the time, I unplug it and nothing happens. You know, it's better to wait till you disconnect the battery or the phone is completely off, but I've disconnected it just like this, and nothing has happened. Fingerprint still works, everything's fine. But yeah, for best practice, please don't ever connect or disconnect anything unless the phone is either completely off or the battery's disconnected. I take risks all the time, but I know that if I mess something up, I can fix it. So if you're confident enough, you can take a chance and just disconnect stuff. Usually fingerprint sensors and home buttons, that's all right. I don't take chances on screens, like screen connectors while the phone's still on, charging ports, stuff like that. I do it on some minor things, little buttons here and there. But that's just me. All right, so here we're gonna continue taking off all these little screws. Oh, I did talk about a recent ZTE phone that I did. You see all these screws that I'm taking off, I'm just putting them together because I know that these screws are all the same size. But that'll come back and bite you in the butt. The ZTE, man, I disassembled it. I put all the screws together. When I changed the charging port. Cool, everything was good. It worked. I'm putting it back together. Customer's on the way to pick it up. And I freaking put it was a longer screw, and right around there where I'm pointing at right now, I went straight through the freaking screen, man. Just broke the screen. Anyways, be very careful with your screws. I mean, just put them in a place where you know what order they go in. That's the safest bet. Okay, so we're almost done removing all these screws. And we can start taking off those plastic. That screw didn't want to come out, so I'm gonna push it from behind. So there you go. Pushed it out. Got that sucker out. Okay. Now the battery. Please use a plastic tool. All right, there's the battery disconnected. Phone's off. Bottom plastic coming off. And we can get our new screen and frame assembly. Start transferring every little part from the left one to the right one. Now this here says, please test before installation. You know what? You have to test the screens. This one right here, and sorry about the blurriness and the cameras. I'll fix my setup. But the one on the right is the new one with the frame. Now, like I said, I usually order, because most of the screens are bad LCD, so I usually order the LCD only without the frame. So you have to install the LCD to the frame. In this case, I had ordered one that came with the frame, so I figured, installation, what do you mean? Test before install. Well, it's already installed. That's what I thought. I removed that battery plastic, the battery adhesive plastic or whatever. I put a battery, I put a motherboard to test it, turned it on, it had a bad LCD, it had a line coming across right there. Guess what? They didn't give me my money back. I had to pay out of pocket, and lesson learned. So now, no matter what, I'm gonna just test it. So before I even remove anything, I'm gonna use that those handy S8 or whatever. I have different kinds, but they're little LCD connectors, so you can test. So there it is. I'm gonna plug in the new LCD before I install anything. And I'm gonna see if it's good or defective. I swear, man, the last time it was for an S8 Plus. I didn't test it because, again, I thought it was already installed, to the frame. So then once I put everything and I turned it on, it had a line. I was so bummed, and I tried to get my money back. They weren't having it. Had to pay $239 out of my pocket. All right, so I'm plugging it in and plugging the battery in, and we're gonna turn it on. And right here I started panicking because it wasn't turning on. But then I remember I messed with the battery connector a little bit more. I pushed it in a little bit, and I felt it click. So the battery wasn't on fully. So here we go, turning it on, and you have to kind of press on the motherboard sometimes too, because remember there's no screws in the back, so the motherboard is not making contact with the power button connectors. So I add a little pressure, then I turn it on. That's where I click the battery, I think. Yeah. Here we go. There you go. No lines so far. Man, I hate it because I felt like this was a good video. I talked and I explained, and oh my goodness, I was so bummed out. If you guys want the video with the crappy audio, comment and I'll probably post it. It sounds like a robot, like, I don't know, weird. I'm gonna show a little piece. Okay, so we're gonna hit the emergency call. And there you go, white screen looks good. The touch is working. And this phone is good. This screen is good. So there's no lines. We are good to go. Alrighty, turn it off, unplug everything, and we're gonna start removing the. It didn't let me turn it off. I'm gonna have to unplug the battery. So we're gonna start removing all the parts from the old phone. Yeah, here I was trying to turn it off again with the power button. It wasn't gonna work. All right, battery is off. And LCD off. I like using the spudger tool to, I just stick it in there and I just twist it and it unplugs mostly anything. Right here I got a phone call. I don't remember who it was. Oh, they were outside. I think it was the owner of this phone. I'm like, sorry guys, I'll be back. I run out there. I open the door for the guy. He comes in. He's waiting for me to finish his phone as I'm doing a video on his phone. And if you watch this, leave a comment, man. That way I know somebody watched it. Okay. I'm probably gonna cut this part here because it kind of took a while. Here I am coming back. Okay, let's start removing everything from the old frame and screen. So we'll start unplugging everything you see. Just unplug everything. That's the camera. I'm just gonna add a little bit of heat to that. It still didn't come off. It wasn't coming out too easily, so I kind of stopped. And I went ahead and removed the board first because I noticed that it was underneath the board. So it's all right. So SIM tray, you got to remove that too before you get the board out. So you got that taken out. What else? Okay, we're gonna start taking off the antenna cables. Careful, because that sometimes breaks. It can break off the board. So do it carefully. You can use tweezers. Okay. That's part of the charging port. I think that's like the Bluetooth. I don't know what that is. But anyways, just disconnect it, then the board will come out nice and easy. Okay, so now we're gonna compare old to the new. What do we need to transfer? So look closely. I usually start from the top. So and then I work my way down. And just be very, very careful because it's easy to miss some things. So right now the camera's first. Cool. Let's check the other side to see if I need to put anything before the camera goes in. It looks like everything's there already, so I don't need to put like extra adhesive or extra cushioning or anything. Camera goes right in. Okay, now there's a little plastic right there, a little rubbery thing that was already in the new one, so we don't have to transfer that. There's also another little pink thing over to the corner on the top right. But then there's also that shield with, what is that? With the volume buttons. So you take that shield, you heat it up a little bit, and then you take your tweezers, you pull that shield out, and there you go. And it's not the volume buttons, that was the connector for a sensor. Yeah, those are your proximity sensors. Let's see. Make sure there's nothing you gotta transfer, so that's it. Just the shield with the sensors. And they fit right into those squares, those holes right there. Sockets or whatever. All right, what's next? Volume buttons are already there. That's nice. So we don't have to transfer that. Right here, I'm trying to fix the camera because it was blurry. It'll be all right. You guys will be able to still watch and still kind of see what we're doing. All right, so we got that part. We're gonna scan from top to bottom. Here we go. We got the vibrating motor right there that we're gonna have to transfer over. Not that. That's the volume buttons that are already there. There you go. That's the vibrating motor. You want to apply some heat. And then with the tweezers, I usually use my tweezers for that. You could either hit it from the top or go through the bottom. I think in this case, the bottom is gonna work best. So you just kind of hit it, poke it, and then just work your way through it, and there you go. You can use that same adhesive. And there you go. Fits right in there. Now that is the power button. It's already there. We don't have to transfer that, which is nice too. All right, so we're looking through carefully. We're looking on the right side, on the right phone, right? We're looking down, everything's there. Follow through, everything, okay. Now the charging port is next. Let's look at yeah. Everything is there. So now let's start removing the screws for the charging port. There we go, there's one screw. Two screws. And then the audio jack is a separate part, so you can unplug it. It has one screw. I think I already removed it. Okay, so you want to heat it up so that the charging port, it has some adhesive, not too much, not too crazy, but heat it up a little bit and then you can start removing it. There you go. I'm removing the audio jack. There you go. Came off nice and easy. Let's do the charging port. Here we go. With my plastic spudger, I hit it from the back. I just there you go. On this right here, when I'm pulling out that, be kind of careful. It's really thin, but we heated it up already, so whatever adhesive it had is pretty soft now, and it came off. So you just kind of pull it carefully. Don't yank it, and it should come out. Now the cables here run through a little groove around the battery. You want to take that out too. There you go. And before you put the charging port on, you want to check that you don't have to transfer anything else, because the charging port is covering the bottom part In this case, I didn't have to transfer anything. I quickly glanced at it, and in fact, later in this video, like in about 2 minutes or 5 minutes, I removed the charging port again just because to double check. You know, we want to offer customers the best service we can. So I thought maybe I had skipped a little metal plate, but it was there, you know. Okay, so here we go. I'm putting the charging port. That rubber on the bottom left is already there. I didn't have to transfer that. And then now you just basically just repeat the steps. Just the way I removed it, now I just put it back on to the new one. And I promise I'm gonna try to check my system before I start streaming. There goes the audio jack, and right below, behind that audio jack is where there's a shield, and I'll show you guys in a bit. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put the screws back on, only to take them off again to double check that plate. And please use a mat. I'm using a anti-static, heat-resistant mat, so it's rubbery. It's best to protect the new screen too. Like, don't just use a regular table. You know, use something, a towel or something, but not the bare hard table. Okay, so putting the screws back on, and this is where I'm gonna start looking. I look at the right on the phone on the right side, and I'm like, is there a shield down there? I mean, underneath there. I'm like, I know I saw it, but oh well. Here we go. Let's double check real quick. Screw, 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 and more screws. Okay, now the battery. Be careful removing the battery. You want to heat it up from the back and from the front. Don't overheat it on either side. Just heat it evenly up and down, left to right. And then when you start prying the battery, you want to be careful. Do you remember when I told you the center part is the LCD? You don't want to push too deep in there. You want to wedge it and try to stay away from that LCD center right there from that. You can see it on the left side right there, that black tape on the left or whatever black rectangle. Yeah, so stay away from that because you can damage the LCD like that. And then the whole point of ordering the screen with the frame was to recycle the LCD, and guess what? By removing the battery, you can damage it, and there goes your little hustle there. So here I'm going to try the plastic spudger, and I don't think that's going to work too much on this one anyway. So then I use my metal one, and there we go. Nice and easy. And then I accidentally pushed it in deep here, watch. There you go, you see that? It slid. It slipped. You guys saw that. I'll probably rewind that. But yeah, so see, I'm going to show you in the video where that metal thing actually went through. Look, right there. Thankfully and fortunately, it didn't damage the LCD. But I will double test it because I want to sell this LCD again. So be very careful. So when you wedge it, you want to wedge it through the right there through the bottom side on the right side or the left side, or just try your best to stay away from the LCD. So here we're gonna spend a little bit of time because we have to test the old LCD before we try to recycle it. So we're gonna plug in the charging port to the board on the new frame and with the new screen. We can start assembling pretty much because we have that LCD cable for testing the LCDs. So we can start assembling this phone. Look underneath, make sure there's no connectors kind of flopped in, folded in, and then they're hiding underneath the board. There you go, there's the battery. There's the camera. I'm going to try to get that camera out. There you go, got the camera connector. And then on the right side, there's another connector. You know, just make sure they're all over the board. Okay. Right there, I just muted my phone. No distractions. Not right now. Okay, I'm connecting these Wi-Fi antennas back. Good. Connect the camera. Connect the proximity sensors. Put in our SIM tray back in. Plug in our LCD first. We're gonna test it. Not the new LCD, but the old one. Here we go. I'm plugging in the connector. And I'm praying that I didn't damage the LCD. I took this video, I streamed this around 6:30 p.m. and because of the technical difficulties, I'm doing the voiceover and it's now 1:37 a.m. Okay, so here the power button is not working because I need to apply pressure, remember? So that the power button contacts can make contact with the motherboard. There you go, pressure right there. Okay, pressure right there, and then the power button should work now. Bam. And that's because we don't have the plastic frame covers or whatever they're called with the screws to tighten it up. So here we go, we got a nice white screen. The red looked fine, it looked perfect, and there's no spots. So this screen is still good. Yay. Battery unplugged, LCD's unplugged, LCD cable unplugged, and let's get this going. Okay, so we are writing recycle on the old LCD and I'm putting it back in the packaging that the new LCD came in with the frame. So there we go, I'm gonna put it there for now, and that one's ready for recycle. So let's continue and finish this phone. Plug in the LCD connector. Everything else is plugged in, camera, battery, charging port, Wi-Fi antenna cables, proximity sensor. What else? Just everything. So I like putting this top part first, and then the bottom, that has a middle piece to it. So it's usually stuck to the wireless charging pad. And then I lift it a bit, and then that bottom part goes in. You have to put in I like putting it in bottom first. There you go. And then that middle frame part goes on top of it. So you kind of lift it and go over it, and there you go. Click it on, click it in, and you can start putting the screws. Come on. This is a long video, but somebody out there will need to watch the entire thing. If you're like me, I just scan through videos. I forward them. My wife is like, watch the video. I'm like, I am. And then I just skip through it, and I'm like, okay, cool, I just watched it. And she's like, you did not. But I don't know, I just scanned through it, and okay. I don't know, that could be bad sometimes because there's some important things that I miss. I'm just so impatient, man. Okay, what? One more screw? Two more screws? Oh, almost dropped it and it landed right on the edge of that mat. Okay, come on. Last screw, last screw. Woo, woo, woo. Yes. All right. Fingerprint sensor. These are they could be tricky, but once you got practice, that's it. You got it. So this is how you do it. I use a plastic spudger all the time. I'm gonna see if I can show you guys here. There you go. You can kind of see it there. I kind of play with it and then I click it on. I wish I would have showed you that view right there. Anyways, I already clicked it in. That was pretty fast. I kind of got lucky there, but okay, you line it up and you heat the back again evenly, and ta-da! You kind of like pat it, wipe, with some pressure so that all that adhesive can stick back onto the phone. You could use a rag, a towel, and I'm like wiping it at the same time I'm applying some pretty nice pressure so that it can stick to it. Make sure there's nothing underneath that phone. With that little pressure and the smallest particle or something, you can break the screen. All right, turn it on, and here we go. This right here, people, is how you replace the LCD with the frame on a Samsung Galaxy S8. Beautiful. Looks just gorgeous. The back, even though that back had a crack, we still managed to remove it carefully without expanding that crack further. Again, I apologize for the voiceover and the technical difficulties we've been having, but I'm barely playing with this new setup. Like always, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to subscribe. If this helped you in any way, please share it. And stay tuned. If you guys want to learn how to fix phones, but more than that, learn how to run a cell phone repair business, visit us. Go to our website. Send us an email at contact at 911gadgets.com. We only charge a small fee, and it's a 5-day course. You guys will learn the business, how to unlock, how to do everything. Thank you guys for watching.